Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are here for the penultimate episode. The penultimate episode. It's been a very exciting number of weeks since the show started, but yeah, we're at the penultimate episode, episode number 8 of The Last of Us. So yeah, I feel like I feel like we've got a pretty major kind of cliffhanger coming at the end of this one, and then it's all gonna blow up in our faces in next week's finale and everything. So yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean, again, I think, like, I personally would not have minded the 10 episodes that they originally had planned. I thought, when it comes to, especially when it comes to these types of shows too, I feel like, there definitely kind of is a sweet spot of like, a number of episodes to hit and everything, and for me, the sweet spot would be, like, 10 to 13, maybe 15 or something, but then 10 would be at the very least, that would be great, but then, I think in terms of like for production's sake and maybe for story's sake as well, they decided to cut it down just by one, so 9 also seems fine. But even the way it's been going too, the story has been paced very nicely and it's been flowing at a really nice rate, and thank God it's actually been on like an actual weekly kind of release, as HBO usually does and everything, and not like an all-in-one kind of release or anything like that. So with this show being as great as it is, I wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah, episode number 8, the penultimate one. So last time was episode 7, and we had Left Behind, the adaptation of the Left Behind DLC, which was masterfully done and everything. We had Storm Reed joining very briefly as Riley, as Ellie's ex-girlfriend, and her first love, and also the very first person that she lost in her life, but because of the cordyceps fungus and the infection and all that kind of stuff and everything. So yeah, Riley was a Firefly too. She was actually cornered by Marlene one night on her way back to Fedra and everything, and then recruited pretty much on the spot and stuff. And then since then, she's been kind of guarding their stash in the mall and doing kind of odd jobs for them, I think, and stuff. And then the night that she took Ellie out to the mall was actually the night before she was actually supposed to leave for the Atlantic UZ on like a Firefly assignment. So a night of mixed bag of emotions for Ellie, of like feeling kind of like somewhat lied to, but then also feeling betrayed and feeling betrayed by Fedra and like the Fireflies, and feeling so conflicted about Riley, but then also very much feeling like the way she did, like affectionate and in love with Riley and everything, and then wanting to actually savor that and express that and everything, which she did kind of ever so like even slightly get the chance to and everything. So yeah, but then they were actually intact by that one infected, but by the stalker. So I think, yeah, I mean, I've been kind of like because it's not exactly the way that I see them as in the game as well. Like in the game, I think stalkers, I think especially in part 2, like stalkers are much creepier and much more kind of silent and everything. So I think so far I've only really right off the bat, I've only ever been able to really recognize the clickers and the bloaters and all that kind of stuff. But everything else, I think like people have been calling them like runners and stalkers and everything based on how they look and how they work and everything. So I haven't been able to actually recognize those ones nearly as much, but apparently the one that Ellie kind of killed in the basement in episode 3, and the one that attacked Riley and Ellie in the last one was the same one. It was actually a stalker. So I think that then makes her kill in episode 3 all the more kind of, I think, kind of ominous, and all the more kind of mysterious and emotional to look at too. Like she's actually killing one. She's killing the same type of infected that actually kind of attacked her and Riley, and actually made Riley die as well. So yeah, but it also showed us how they both got bit too. Ellie with the bite on her arm, and then Riley with the one on her finger and everything, on her hand and everything, and then how they actually eventually came to the conclusion of just like waiting the infection out and savoring every last kind of minute and hour that they could before the infection took them both. But then, of course, Ellie, not knowing she's infected, she then expected to turn with Riley and to actually be poetic and lose their minds together and everything. So yeah, a very emotional, very kind of bittersweet kind of love story once again from The Last of Us and everything. And again, I think running pretty much like no different to how the game ran either. So adapting that love story very beautifully for us. So yeah, and again, Bella Ramsey and Storm Reed absolutely nailed it. They absolutely nailed it and everything. So just hats off to both of them for doing the job that they did so beautifully. So that was cool. And then it was kind of like the Left Behind stuff was more of a flashback, but then it kind of was shown in interchangeably with the present day, where Joel is pretty much, I think you can probably kind of say that he's actually fucking dying and everything after being stabbed by a rusty baseball bat handle and everything. So Ellie is looking after him as best as she can, and she's actually scouring the house for supplies and everything, which in the end she did. She found like a thread and needle to stitch up the wound as best she could and everything, so she did that. And then, yeah, but the entire time he was hesitant about actually having her stay with him. Like he told her right from the get-go, like, you know, you go north, you go find Tommy, he'll look after you and all that kind of stuff. And he was just kind of convinced that not only was he going to die, but then, you know, like his worst fear came true, that he would die, he would fail Ellie, and he'd end up leaving her alone, and that she'd end up dying later because of him. So yeah, you know, I think people who play the game kind of like actually know what's coming, and or at least people who actually know what's in the game and have actually maybe even seen it or played it to some extent. You know, you know what's coming. You know the shitstorm that's about to hit them both and everything. So very much barely prepared on my end over here. But you know, I think now we're going to see exactly at least some of the worst of humanity that Joel and Ellie actually have left to face before the end is nigh and everything. So yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride. It's gonna be a wild freaking ride. So yeah, but yeah, again, this season alone has been just running so greatly. Again, been paced so well. Like the number of episodes, I think each episode has been something to look forward to, and each episode has felt like it's really kind of paid off in terms of story and character and world building and being like an actual phenomenal kind of video game to kind of show adaptation and everything too. So, you know, if this does prompt more adaptations like it, then I'd say the more the merrier. And not to say other adaptations kind of suck, like entirely or anything, but, you know, because I mean, I haven't even seen all of them because, you know, because of like my lack of consumption on the source material and everything. But with this one feels very, very, very special and very, very kind of like dedicated and everything. So if anything, there is plenty to learn from this one, and I think learning is encouraged for anyone and everyone. So, you know, yeah, I think this has been a great watch. I think even from what we've been seeing from the actual kind of reviews and everything, I think this has been a really, really fun watch for people who have and haven't actually consumed the original source material of the game and everything. So it's just been a great story to really get into, and it's been really kind of well made by everyone involved. So can't wait to see what it all leads into. And then of course we do have season 2 coming, which will be the adaptation of part 2, but that is a story for another time. That is literally a story for another time. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got to say before the storm, so let's get into the storm. So yeah, The Last of Us, episode number 8 of season 1. Let's go. Oh god. Why does he just look like a really creepy youth pastor?
For there will be no more death. Neither sorrow nor crying. Neither will there be any more pain.
Like, I don't want to judge anyone who would still be religious or still have faith under these circumstances. Like, if they do, then more power to them. But then, what are the chances of this actually still being like a cult or something? Or what are the chances of actually of someone taking a new world like this and using that as an opportunity to turn it into a cult? Ah, Troy Baker! There he is! Our boy Troy. Yeah, OG Joel. Yeah. She looks like what's her face from part 2. I think was it Melanie or something? I think Owen's girl. Oh. That's not a half bad stitch job, you know. Obviously she doesn't have all the resources she needs, like antibiotics or, you know. Does she get the can she use the can she get the bow and arrow at some point? I would really love to see her using a bow and arrow. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oof. Gosh. Oh, and a face full of snow. Oof. And it's hopped away. Bugs Bunny lives to see another day. A clicker? Out here? No way. A clicker out here? A clicker all the way out here? No? Or is it the elk? Elk can't click, can they? Oof. Oh! Oh, it's a deer, not an elk. Okay, deer. Well, she injured it, right? That's an injury shot, right? Just gonna like limp and bleed out.
Any sudden moves, I put one right between your eyes.
Just put one in both. Save yourself the trauma. Save yourself the trauma, Ellie. Just put one in both. Just put one in both.
We're from a larger group, women, children, and we're all very, very hungry.
I'm from a large group too. Also hungry. Anyone else shows up, I put one right
between my eyes.
That's right.
Talk to Howard. He's got a case with some penicillin. Bring back 2 bottles and a syringe. It's not code, James. Do as I said.
And it's like, we're actually listening to this girl? Like, we're actually going to give her what she wants? Really?
I'm a decent man, just trying to take care of the people who rely on me. Before that, I was a teacher. Math. Taught kids about your age.
So you went from teacher to preacher because what, it fucking rhymes?
From algebra to Bible verses.
Well, I found God. After the apocalypse, which is either the best time or the worst time to find him. Hard to say.
So what happened to religious people then? Did they just give up the faith? Did they just stop believing?
No such thing as luck. No, I believe everything happens for a reason.
I don't like this where this is headed.
So I sent 4 of our people to a nearby town to scavenge what they could. Only 3 of them came back. And the one that didn't was a father. He had a daughter just like you.
4 people, 3 came back.
He was murdered
The university!
by this crazy man.
The university group! The raiders!
That crazy man
At the university.
was traveling with a little girl.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That's from David's
Everything happens
group.
for a reason. James, lower the gun.
Oh,
She was the
Jamie,
one who
Jamie,
killed other
James.
people. She didn't kill anybody.
Oh, God. I knew the university shit would come back to bite us in the ass.
David.
Yeah. Surprise. Newsflash. This guy is bad frickin' news. Very, very bad news.
Okay, the fuck do I put this to?
Isn't it usually in the arm or something? Or is it... It's not directly on the wound, is it? It's usually on the arm, right? Oh. Is it usually directly on the wound? I'm pretty sure it's not. Okay, well, you know, I don't know. Maybe at this close, as close as you can get to the source, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's usually on the arm or like, I don't know. If you're in a hospital, then do an IV drip or something, you know. God.
What is it?
Venison.
Really, you said that in such an ominous tone. I'm actually strong to believe it's venison now. But the way you said that, yeah, it's venison. Totally venison. 100% venison. No, nothing else.
When the sun rises, I'll lead a group out to pick up her trail. Won't be hard to find in the snow. And we'll bring that man to justice.
You should kill him. You should kill both of them.
Oh, that's his daughter. Whoa!
I know you think you don't have a father anymore. But the truth is, Hannah, you will always have a father.
Oh, don't say it's you.
And you will show him respect when he's speaking.
Oh, God. Yeah, cult leader right here. Cult leader right here. And I mean, with that too, there's always, you know, like that abusive tendencies, like an abusive history as well. Is he any better? Did the penicillin work? Hope he's at least having good dreams compared to what he's been dreaming about, you know, based on what he told Tommy. Hopefully he's not having more kind of failure nightmares. Oh yeah, be very careful. David and his men are gonna track you now. Yeah, shit, they're already in the village.
We bring that girl back with us. She's just another mouth to feed.
If we leave her out here, she'll die.
Yeah, maybe that's God's will.
No, shit. You're about to preach God's will to a preacher?
Joel, wake up. Joel, wake the fuck up, Joel. But if anybody makes it down here, you fucking kill them. You got it?
Yeah, he's really in he's really in the shape to kill, Ellie. He's really in the shape to kill. How much of that did he actually catch? He's in no shape to fight. Just run them down with the horse. Have the horse just stomping through them. Run him down.
Hey, motherfuckers!
Surprise, bitch! Boom! Oh shit! Okay, let's go.
Keep coming, fuckers.
Not all of them are gonna go. I think David's gonna be smart enough to actually. Oh god, that was too good of a shot. Oh, that was too good of a shot. Oh, you got the horse. Oh god. Oh, Ellie, wake up. Ellie, wake up. Ellie, wake up. Well, you first you vouched for letting her go, and now you're just gonna. David, yeah. He knew they would try something. I mean, first you vouched for letting her go, and now you're just gonna put a bullet in her.
You so hungry for vengeance? Deliver it.
Find the guy. Find Joel. God, Joel, please wake up. Please, they've got Ellie now. You know, your second worst fear has come true. They found Ellie and they've taken her. Now show these men a vengeance that not even God can save them from. He hears that. Yeah. Come on, Joe. Now's the time to fight. Ooh, nice one. Ooh, yes. Attack from behind. Nice one. Ooh. Oh, God. Oh. Oof. Has he torn his stitches? Doing that? Oh, Ellie. Oh.
Oh, shit.
Is that Timothy? Oh, there we go. Oh. He's either got so much more adrenaline or he's actually in slightly better condition. Yeah. Oh, he's going in.
Leave him alone. You're next.
Oh, please. I don't know any girl.
Oh,
Oh god, he's going in. He's going all in.
I can't help you. You focus right
Yeah.
here, or I'll pop your fucking kneecap off.
Oh, the town!
What town?
Silver Lake.
Oh, the map thing, do the map
a
thing,
real
do the map
town
thing,
name.
do the map thing.
It's a resort.
A resort? You're gonna point to where we are and where your resort is.
Yeah.
And it better be the exact same spot your buddy points to.
It's where we are. I swear. Go ask him, he'll tell you. I'm not lying.
No! No! Jesus!
Damn. Oh, Joel, you got no time for mercy.
I ain't telling you shit. It's okay. No. I believe him.
No.
Oh, God. Joel Miller. You freaking beast. Jesus. Oh, that's an ear? That's a ripped off human ear? Is that a punishment or is that just
What
what's
it's worth,
left
this is
over?
just deer meat, I swear.
That's left over from what they've had before.
Gonna chop me up into little pieces.
If you want to judge me,
Judge you? You're eating people, you sick fuck!
yes.
It's a surprise they have this many
There are
people
only a few
left.
of us that know. But I would have told you. Sooner or later. I guess sooner.
You're an animal.
Well, yes, we all are. That's sort of
How's the
point.
group this large if they're cannibals? Like, I'm surprised more people aren't dead.
And you know what I see when I look at you? Me. You remind me of me.
Oh, please don't go down that route.
I've always had a violent heart. And I struggled with it for a long time. But then the world ended and I was shown the truth.
They being an abuser paid off.
What does cordyceps do? Is it evil? No. It's fruitful. It multiplies. It feeds and protects its children.
Is this guy
And
saying he
it
relates to the
secures its
fucking
future with
fungus?
violence if it must. I'm a shepherd surrounded by sheep, and all I want is an equal,
God, don't even.
a friend.
Don't fucking even.
Lord knows I could use the help. Look what's happened. We'd make this place perfect. And we'd do whatever we needed for our people. Imagine the life we could give them. Imagine the life we could build.
Get those mitts off of her. Get those paws of yours off of her. Pull him in. Pull him in. Oh! Oh, broke a finger. Oh, broke his finger. Oh. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, broke his fingers at least. Yeah. God, that was the creepiest fucking shit.
Tell them that Ellie is a little girl who broke her fucking finger!
How did you put it?
Oh, God. Okay, you need to find a way to break out of this cage. Oh, the horse! Ellie's horse. Oh, and people. Oh, the people they eat. The people they eat. Yep, headless corpses. The people they eat. Oh, God. Bite him too. Make him think he's infected.
Wait, don't!
But she's got the bite. She's got the bite.
Had your chance.
I'm infected!
She's got the bite. She's got two. She's got two bites.
And now so are you.
Yeah.
Well, listen, look at it. Look at it!
God damn it. Surprise.
What did you say? Everything happens for a reason, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, she would have turned by now. This isn't real.
Well, she just bit you, isn't that? You know, a pretty infected thing to do. Ooh. Oh, jeez. Oh, goodbye, James. R.I.P. Troy. Goodbye, James. Oh, gosh. So first OG Tommy and now OG Joel. Yeah. Both of them meeting their demise. Oh, God. Oh, God, no. Oh, it's gonna start a fire. It's gonna burn the place down. Yeah, oh, this whole place is gonna come crashing down.
No one infected fights this hard to stay alive. You don't know what I could have given you if you had just let me. You see, I've changed my mind. I've decided you do need a father. So I'm going to keep you. And I'm going to teach you.
Oh, gosh. Oh, right in the gut. Oh, no, get off her. Get off her.
Oh, I thought you already knew. The fighting is the part I like the most. Don't be afraid. There's no fear in love.
God.
It's me. It's me. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, baby girl. I got you. I got you. My God. One thing I'm going to say right off the bat, right, because I think this needs to be exclaimed with exclamation points and everything. Give Bella Ramsey their fucking Emmy. Give Bella Ramsey that Emmy, you know. Just have them be the one to be the first in line to pick it up and everything. This episode, my good lord. Just, I mean, the ending alone, but then the entire episode, like, they managed to carry it on their backs and everything, you know, even with Joel managing to come back to consciousness and life again and actually fight, and even, kind of like, even Joel managing to actually kind of beat the other guys, and kill them even in the condition he's in is great and all, but Bella Ramsey, like, she has to deal with all of this stuff going on, and everything, and Alien has to actually come to terms with the cult and David and deal with their bullshit and buffoonery and put an end to everything they have and everything. Just she nailed it. She absolutely freaking nailed this, and I think it's the right kind of balance of actually being angry and vicious towards David for what he is and what he's doing, but then also being terrified for Ellie and actually being very naturally terrified for her and being very kind of like instinctively terrified for her, but then actually like having faith and having the kind of belief that with her being as violent as she is, like hopefully she can get some good kind of hooks and stabs and punches in and everything, so which she does. That segment of the story being so pivotal towards Belly, I don't know why I keep calling her Belly, towards Ellie's arc and like to her character, like her seeing this being arguably the worst of humanity, because I think everything, because again, like because I think this kind of thing was foreshadowed, like even the guy that Joel spoke to about the radio stuff, and like when Joel said he'd actually go find Tommy himself, the guy who's in charge of the radio said, like, it's not just infected you have to worry about, it's like raiders and murderers and bandits and rapists and all manner of humanity's kind of evil that managed to surpass the apocalypse and cordyceps and everything. So, you know, but it's like, you know, because like again, it's like terrifying to think that the easiest like of humanity to deal with would still be people who actually kill indiscriminately, like raiders and bandits who kill because you have supplies or something. Like, you know, I think murderers would also be just as bad, because then they would still take pleasure and actually thrive off of the kill. But then raiders and bandits would probably like because we saw like in episode 4, I think it was, like when the truck crashed in Kansas City, and then Joel only had to kill those other kids and everything, even that one kid who was like, okay, no, it's fine, like he was, you know, most like even to some extent innocent, and even once he got shot he was actually fully kind of merciful and begging for mercy. Like people like that don't kill for pleasure, like they kill because they feel like they have no other choice, and it's like, you know, current circumstances drive them to take extreme measures and everything. So those kinds of people you can worry about slightly less if you learn how to avoid them. But then like people like murderers and rapists, like they are like the worst of humanity before and after the apocalypse, and even in the wake of the apocalypse too, when the world and the population and humanity are minimized to the number it is, it's like, you know, like they then thrive off of the isolation and the danger that the new world provides, and they find easier ways of actually or like newer ways of actually kind of like hunting and preying on the innocent and everything. So like people like David, it's scary to think that David would not be the only one of his type out there and everything. Seeing Ellie kind of having to come face to face with that too, actually coming face to face with like with another human being so kind of sadistic and so malicious and so kind of so much of a threat, and still walking away from that, but not without trauma, is honestly just it's easily one of the more kind of horrifying aspects of the game. And you know, it's definitely something you wouldn't have if this show wasn't so character driven and people driven and everything. Like, you know, I think there's been so much kind of complaint that there's not nearly enough infected in the show, or that you don't really get enough time to actually see them kill infected or fight infected, which, you know, I think we get like a reasonable amount. But then I think the one advantage this show has in telling the story over the game is that with this one you actually get to see the people as who they are. Like with the game, because it's a game, you obviously get more opportunity to kill infected and to fight infected and everything, because then obviously like that gives you what you need to build up and to level up, and from a gameplay perspective that makes more sense. But with this one you actually get like a deeper dive into the world and into the new world and the kinds of people that make up this new world, both good and bad and neutral. And like this version of David is arguably so much more fleshed out and actually given so much more to work with than the game's version. With the game, he was creepy and that's that, but then with this one, there's a creepiness and there's also like a, on his end, there's almost like an actual kind of slightly more of like an actual justification to it, but then also like again like so much more of like an actual history to it and everything, and like a history that like you get to piece the history together and be like, okay, you know what, it kind of makes sense that he turned out this way and everything. So but just Ellie actually kind of coming to having to come face to face with this kind of evil and having to survive it, and discovering that this is what like some people are really like, and discovering just how vulnerable she is in a world like this, immunity be damned and everything. It's honestly it's pure horror material. It's pure horror material, and again I think for this episode they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. And but yeah, we had David the rapist, and in this one he's apparently like a former teacher turned preacher and everything, and I don't know like why that history just matches up so well with what he is now. Like I think, you know, like again I think, I mean, from the opening alone I figured like I think, again, not to bash too much on religion or even anyone like in this kind of circumstance in this world, anyone in this world who would actually still have the ability and time or the energy to maintain faith and to still has faith in him. But then the difference with David being that he actually found faith after the world fell apart. Like before that he was just a teacher and everything, and it's not that uncommon for teachers themselves to be sex offenders or to have actual sexually kind of criminal kind of past or anything too. I think it's pretty reasonably high, like the number of teachers who actually do get convicted for sex crimes and everything, you know, and who end up on the watch list and everything, and even preachers too, and again, these are different kind of, you know, roles in society that you could actually find a pretty high number of offenders in. So yeah, David then kind of, I think maybe even using religion as an excuse to find more people to follow him and to actually kind of like find more ways to actually prey on people or something. He's kind of holding this group together in the way that he is and everything. But then right from the get-go, you get cult vibes. You're definitely going to get cult vibes. Even the more that the group is shown, you also get the feeling that like none of them really kind of have free will to operate in the way that they do. You know, and if they voice their opinions, like Hannah, like Alex's daughter, the guy who died, like his daughter, voiced her own opinion of like, oh, if we find them, then we should kill them both and make them pay their penance that way and everything. And then David smacks the shit out of her and then leads her back up to the table and says, oh, I'm your father now, so you need to respect me. So him automatically assuming that kind of role in her life, but then also like doing so in unarguably the creepiest way too, being like, oh, you lost your dad, don't worry, I'll be your dad, I'll take care of you and everything. maybe in the slightest of ways he could also be seen as an opportunist and everything as well, even the way he described himself too, like he is the leader, he's the one that his people chose apparently, but then he speaks and then they follow him and everything. So I think in giving him that history, I think they definitely kind of added layers that allow you to see him for what he is and how long he's been this way and all the different ways that he uses to actually just kind of justify the way he feels and the way he acts and the way he believes and the way he treats his own community and everything. So in the game, like, I think he definitely kind of does get the kind of like original kind of background of being like a cannibal and then the leader of the group and everything, but then his main kind of motive is to get revenge against Joel for having killed a member of his group and everything, and even actually also then trying to take Ellie and everything. The way it feels watching it and the way I kind of saw it and took it and everything, it feels like like her killing David is that much more emotionally charged and everything, because the fact that she's seeing something like this, like a threat a threat this kind of human and a human threat this bad, persevering in the face of cordyceps and in the face of the apocalypse, where everything else has perished. Like to her, like she's come this far watching good people die over and over again. She's watched she lost her mum after she was born, then she's lost, she watched Riley die, she watched Tess die, she watched Henry and Sandra, like all these good people that she's known who have done nothing but fight to protect each other and to live for themselves, and people who have fought for good causes and people who have actually tried their best to do good by the people that they care about and everything, they have died, but then someone as fucked up as David gets to live. Like to her, like that, I think that makes it kind of all the more kind of all the more kind of vengeful of a kill for her. So like when she's literally kind of hacking his face in, I feel like it's actually her actually trying to that much more viscerally put an end to what David is and everything he stands for, everything he's ever done, everyone he's ever hurt, and everything he's ever stood for and said and meant and everything. Like she's trying that much harder to actually put an end to that kind of a threat, because then it doesn't, and it will never make sense to her that people that good and people that she cares about will have to die because of the infection and because of other people, but then someone like David can actually manage to take the steps to ensure his own survival and everything because of all that he does. So I think that just I think it translates to that well in the game, and I think in this one especially I think actually having to watch all those people die again and actually having to watch Ellie lose them again and again and again too, it definitely kind of feels like it actually means that much more to her to actually kind of kill him for more than what he actually threatens to do to her, but then because that's all coming from his history too, that's undoubtedly something he's already done before and he's used to it, and he's so kind of used to actually having what he wants and getting what he wants and luring people in and preying on them and everything. So it's easily again one of the darker and more kind of inhumane kind of segments of the story, and just like a really kind of grim representation of exactly that much more of that much more of the darkness in humanity that would still manage to be left over even after everything's gone down. So yeah, in this one his predatory side and his predatory nature is so much more humanized in the way that he actually justifies it. Like in the game, he only ever, I think in the game they give him those rapey kind of vibes and everything, but then the thing they actually kind of start, but then I think that's what it leads into, and that's what kind of actually kind of allows his more violent nature to manifest in a way that's actually harmful against humans. But then to begin with, the most fucked up thing you can actually see is the fact that they're cannibals, and the fact that that's what they resort to and everything, which they include in this. I think the longer they went on, there was never any kind of proper sign that they were cannibals. So I thought maybe they're gonna leave that out in this, or maybe it's not gonna be kind of addressed as heavily. But no, then the more they went on, the cannibalism was actually addressed with the human ear kind of being left behind, and even Joel finding the kind of bodies hanging in the abandoned kind of restaurant place or whatever it was as well. So it was definitely addressed, but then that was the tip of the iceberg, and the more you go down, the more you find out that he's actually so much more fucked up in his beliefs and his actions and the way he kind of operates and everything. So even describing cordyceps and using that to justify it too, like in cordyceps, you might think it's violent because of what it creates, but then it's only ever trying to survive, and it's only ever trying to feed its children, and it's trying to maintain its own kind of existence by spreading the infection and trying to stay alive and everything. So cordyceps, that's just its nature. It's in its nature to infect and to spread and to take over and everything. It doesn't really know any other way, and it's not inherently kind of violent or sadistic or anything like that, and then using that to kind of justify the way they do things and everything, and even actually trying to relate to Ellie too, being like, saying to telling Ellie she has like a violent heart, and he understands that, and he even relates to that, and actually saying that because of that they would be equals, while everyone who follows him and his group are just his shepherds, kind of waiting on his command and waiting on his word, and waiting to see which kind of Bible verses he recites day after day, and what he tells them to believe in and to do and everything. So I think that's so much more reminiscent of how of predatory people in real life work too, the ones who are actually charismatic and charming and more kind of soft spoken to begin with, as they lure you in with kind of trusting words and trusting mentalities and explanations and trying to justify what they do, and then the more you resist, the more kind of the more kind of fearsome and vicious in their ways of doing things they get, and everything. Like even the girl talking back to him, like he actually punished her by smacking her across the face, but then gently leading her back up to the table and actually reassuring her that like he's the one in control and he's the one in charge and everything. But then again with Ellie, like with her being as resistant and fearful as she is, I think the longer it goes on and the more she fights back, and she even kills James and then sets the restaurant on fire and things, so he sees her for being as kind of feisty as she is, and then just the way that everything kind of unfolds with that guy, it's like the longer it goes on, the more you kind of start to sense that there's actually something wrong with him, and then by the time the mask falls off and everything, you see him for the actual monster he is, and then that's the exact monster that Ellie puts it into, and then she kills and everything. And even like those final few seconds, like him climbing on top of her, and being like, oh well, I like them feisty anyway, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty sure he'd reach down to unzip his just everything. But yeah, the game version works for the game, and the show version actually works for the show and everything, but with this being that much more kind of character driven, and actually spending that much more time on the people as opposed to the infected, I feel like it actually kind of works that much more to kind of show exactly what the world has come to, even with the cordyceps kind of being the kind of predominant kind of threat and everything. So, and again, I think the cordyceps again is not like inherently sadistic or violent by nature. It's doing what it can to survive, but then that means that it's actually kind of stopping humanity from being able to carry on the way it was and everything. So, but people like this existed even before the apocalypse and everything, but then before, as shitty as it was, even before there was an actual there was a justice system, but again, as shitty as it was, there used to be that, but now people like David are undoubtedly kind of given free reign to do whatever they want. Even Fedra, like Casey Fedra spent 20 years raping and murdering and torturing people and everything, like, I think, but because they had the power and everything, they were allowed to get away with it, and that even makes you kind of question exactly how many kind of predatory and murderous kind of people actually made it into those kinds of ranks and made it into those positions of power and everything, which was the exact case for the world before the apocalypse too. So it's just, I think these kinds of kind of portions of the story and these types of character kind of displays and everything kind of actually show you exactly just like how much of the world you'd still have left to fear, and almost in the same way as before, even with the kind of whole sci-fi element of an apocalypse happening and everything. So it's one of the things that The Last of Us actually does so well, and again, the show allowed it to actually do it that much more kind of fruitfully. So in this one, we did see the group he was talking about, because then he was telling her the story when they sought shelter. He was telling her the story about how he sent like a group of 4 guys out to raid and to hunt and everything. Well, I don't know if he actually mentioned raid, but then he sent a group of 4 guys out to hunt and everything, and then only 3 of them came back, and then they told him about the guy with the girl and everything. So then he said, I think because of that, he knew that he had found the right pair when he found Nelly and everything. So we actively then saw that, and then as soon as you mentioned 4 guys but only 3 came back, then I almost instantly remembered the group of 4 that showed up at the university, and then Joel killed one of them, and then the rest were kind of grounded by Ellie, and then they made their way out and everything. So, but I think in the game, I'm not really sure if we ever actually encountered them, or if it's just something that just if we just actually encountered a random group of raiders and then they just kind of left alive, but we never actually were never meant to think of them again or something. But I can't remember. And again, having not played the game yet, I think I definitely can't remember that. But yeah, no, David's group attacked right from the get go. So I think they were there. They gave off the most kind of raidery vibes and everything, which kind of begs the question exactly what kind of orders David gave believe them. That one guy who attacked just attacked right from the get-go, trying to take Joel out with a bat and then even stabbing him and everything too. Like he never actually got them at gunpoint or actually got them from a distance and said like don't move, stay right where you are, stay right where you are or anything. So because of what we know David to be like too, I think it doesn't seem entirely kind of implausible that like David might occasionally give off some really rash and really kind of harsh orders, being like, find whatever you can find, and if anyone gets in your way then just put them down and then come back and we'll worry about it later and everything. Because even the cannibalism, he even admitted that like only a few people in the community know, like only him and maybe even like a trusted and then select few others who might actually understand or be able to stomach that kind of concept, no pun intended. Other ones that know, but then the rest of them just kind of carry on with their day and are just grateful to receive something to eat every day and everything. So knowing David, I think it's not implausible to think that he actually might be that much more kind of rash or harsh with his orders and everything. So Joel, like his fight back too. I think Joel, being barely conscious when Ellie leaves and everything, to then actually finally managing to push through, because when he hears those like heavy thudding footsteps that can't possibly be Ellie's actually making their way into the house and even moving the shelving unit thing that she pushed in front of the door too, and then actually coming down, that can't possibly be Ellie, because then she was in real distress when she actually left and everything, so that can't possibly be her. And then he actually manages to muster up what little strength he has and move into the shadows and come out like the freaking Batman and just drive a knife into the dude's neck. Like, that fight back scene was just incredible and everything. There's like final few moments of actually fighting to keep it together and stuff, and then one of them dies, so that was weird. But then actually seeing him slowly but surely managing to regain the strength to then lure the other guy out to see his friend's dead body and then knocking him out with the gun and everything. She did give him 2 shots of 2 doses of the penicillin periodically too and everything, so one the night she got back and then the other one the next morning and everything before she went out. So I feel like maybe that might have been enough to actually kind of to actually fight the infection back and to give him the strength he needed and everything. So that, plus also his final few moments of actual kind of coming to seeing Ellie in that much distress and actually knowing that something was wrong and actually trying to tell himself to actually get up and fight back and everything too. So that was really cool. But yeah, his interrogation techniques, I think, I feel like they may well have actually kind of somewhat teased it for the people who've played the game, who actually know how it works from the game too. I think, or when he actually puts the map in front of 2 people and says like, you point here and then it better be the same place. Your partner tells me everything together, because he tried it with the old couple first. I think with that one I recognised right off the bat, but then I think that one seemed like a lot less malicious, because I think he truly didn't really have any intention of killing them. But then with this one, he knew they were actually an active threat and they were responsible for Ellie's disappearance and anything else that might happen, and they were his only way in. So then he knows that if he leaves them alive, then they're most likely going to come back and try and double down on any kind of other vengeful attacks that they kind of launch on them. So then he kills him and then he just beats the other guy to death with a pipe and everything. So yeah, but just seeing him in that shape, seeing him being able to having the energy to be that angry and that vengeful and everything was just insane. And even being don't worry, I believe you're the friend. I'm just gonna kill you because you've gotten this far and you've done all this shit and you're responsible for Ellie and everything. So, and of course Joel saving Ellie, that being the ending was pitch perfect. That being the final scene, the final cut was pitch freaking perfect. And not only that, but then he called her baby girl. That is a phrase he hasn't used in a very long time, in 20 years. And I think even this one, but it's a phrase he hasn't used in that long. The last time he did it, was actually to refer to Sarah, his biological daughter, that he lost because of cordyceps and because of the outbreak and because of the end of the world and everything. So he hasn't really kind of, and I think this entire season has so masterfully and so beautifully kind of shown how much he struggled to not get to know Ellie, but how much he struggled in actually stopping himself from being connected to Ellie, because Ellie has been on his case from the beginning. She has been the most human, or one of the most human people he's ever met and he's ever gotten to know, and she's been so she's had an innocence and a purity to her that he just kind of can't help but acknowledge and cherish and actually kind of see it for what it is. And he over time you've seen as she has actually worn that shell down and to take in the shell that he's actually built and maintained for 20 plus years, but then also actually broken it down over time too, with her puns and her humanity and her innocence, and like her wanting to know more about the world and what it was like, and just her being Ellie Williams and everything. But now he actually fully referred to her as baby girl. She is his baby girl. So, God, seeing that father-daughter relationship kind of come into that level of fruition, her and them finally being reunited and everything, it's just it's everything. It's everything and more. It's everything I needed more, and everything we needed more. So, them being able to pull that off, like Pedro and Bella being able to pull that off, like so harmoniously and so kind of like in such a brilliant kind of union and unison and everything, is just it's just all done. Like the casting is once again proven to be on point. The writing, the acting, the directing, the music in this show is just everything about this kind of screams just like a masterfully done and kind of like a really kind of dedicated and really kind of crafty kind of adaptation, and also just being like the actual brilliantly written kind of story that it is, that really makes you feel for them and really makes you kind of happy to see these things kind of like, and happy and satisfied to see the payoff coming, but then happy to see these things come to actual fruition and everything, because the story itself actually is that well written. That actually kind of like makes you want to see these characters reunited and makes you want to see them reach that kind of end goal of actually being together and actually being with each other and having each other in like against all odds and in the face of danger and despair and everything. Just having Joel finally being able to actually embrace her as his kind of new daughter and everything in an unarguably healthy and much happier way is it's just so much more kind of sweet to see, and they play it so well. They play it so well, and it's just like it's the ending we need after all the bullshit we've been through. But yeah, let's just leave next week's episode for next week. Let's leave all of next week's tension and drama for next week. We can worry about all of that stuff next week. So yeah, but this was beautiful. This was absolutely pitch perfectly beautiful. So yeah. And yeah, we saw the death of yet another character played by an OG from the game. We had Troy Baker, the OG Joel, Troy Baker. With this one, I feel like they actually gave him slightly more to work with and everything. With this one, even James was actually given like a bit more of like an actual character and a bit more kind of personification and depth and everything. Like with this one, I mean, Troy Baker as an actor, he's phenomenal too. Like he created Joel and actually made him so iconic in the game, and even the way that like Joel talks about Pedro and the faith he has in him and the trust he has in him to actually make the character so real and so authentic in the show is nothing but like positive and everything. But I think with this one, like I think James is actually shown to be someone who's, everyone else in the community is shown either having blind faith or maybe actually kind of like acting faithful out of fear. Like maybe they're afraid of David and what he would do to them if they ever rebelled or if they ever actually kind of resisted or failed to follow an order or something. But then with him, it's like I think he might have that same level of fear, but then overall is it like I think that fear kind of ties into who David is and what he's capable of. But then also he doesn't really kind of believe in David's kind of concept of mercy, because in this one David also does like seem to have like an actual concept of mercy that also is kind of tied in with his more predatory side and everything. But with this one, he went to kill Ellie so as to have the excuse as to kind of say that like maybe she fought back and she died or something. But then his main argument was like, just let her go, because then if we bring her back, it's another mouth to feed, and we already have enough trouble finding food as it is. But then David's kind of go-to is like, oh, are you questioning my judgment? Are you actually failing to follow one of my orders or something? Like do you not know what happens to people who end up doing that or something? So then he, like with him, he believes in David and how far he's come and how long he's kept the community alive, but then he's just not kind of actually in line with all of his ideals and his beliefs and his ways of thinking and everything. He doesn't initially want to kill Ellie. He just doesn't want to actually bring her back and involve her and everything. So the way, I think, again, even the way that Troy Baker played James in this one too actually felt that much more kind of like somewhat more kind of, I don't want to say reasonable, but then for lack of a better term, perhaps reasonable. Especially if you thought that actually killing Ellie would be the only way to actually get rid of her without having to fully lie to David. This one, he died the exact same way that James done in the game, like Ellie grabbing the cleaver and then just jamming it into his neck and everything. So we're watching Troy Baker die that way too. So we've seen, who have we seen now? We've seen Tommy die with the bloater, and now we've seen Joel die with Ellie. So yeah, the new Ellie killing the old Joel. So poetry, maybe in like a really kind of indirect and really kind of really kind of vague sense of the word, maybe poetry. So we still have Ashley Johnson. To me. I think she's meant to be playing Ellie's mother in this, who's a character that we only really kind of know of by name and history, even slightly from the game, but then someone we never actually met in the game or anything. So, you know, like the only thing we know about from her in the game is that Marlene actually knew her. So with this one, if the trailer actually showed Ashley Johnson as Ellie's mother actually giving birth to her and everything, so that's something we've still yet to see. So maybe if they're saying that for the finale, then some Ellie backstory for the finale would be interesting. I think that would be interesting too. So then some Joel backstory and history for the premiere, and then some Ellie backstory for the actual finale, some actual Ellie kind of birth and origins for the finale as well. So that would be like a really good kind of like a circle round and everything. So yeah, so we had them, and then we still have Mel Dandridge playing Marlene as well. So those two. So yeah, I can't really think of anyone else in the games who was actually that much more of like a prominent character or voice actor or something. So I don't know, I guess I have to have a look and see. But yeah, Troy Baker. So he came and he nailed it, and then he peaced out. So yeah, so props to him for actually doing such a great job. So yeah. I think for now, this is all I can really kind of think of and come up with, and I think that's all my notes kind of crossed off and everything. And right now, I think, as these episodes usually are, like, it's felt like a very heavy episode, so even more pondering and more thinking could definitely kind of lead to more thoughts and more realizations and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think for now, at least, I think this seems like a reasonable kind of amount to have covered and everything. So yeah, just a whopper, an absolute whopper of an episode. I think there's just so much kind of baggage and tension and weight on our characters' shoulders and everything, you know, and they are handling it as best and with as much strength and perseverance as they can possibly muster, and it's paying off, but you know, we'll see exactly how well this journey kind of ends for them and everything. And then, oh yeah, next week is the last one, and then next week is the last episode of The Last of Us, and then next week is the finale, and then for a while, for another year at least, or maybe two, because of how how long production took on this season alone with filming and then post-production and everything too. It feels like they actually spent like a good amount of time actually making this and making this what it was and stuff. So, you know, might have to wait the same amount of time for season 2, or might have to wait longer, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, but I think after next week, no more Last of Us. So that's gonna take a while to sink in. That is honestly gonna take quite a while to sink in. But yeah, no, I have loved this show more than I can actually talk about. I think I am more than happy to say that definitely after next week, I will definitely be finding my way even harder to actually stream the part 1 on the channel and everything, DLC included. So really glad to see kind of like sales for the game have actually kind of boosted since the show's premiere, and more people have actually kind of expressed interest in actually seeing how the game runs and how differently the D&D game's kind of story unfolds and everything. So that's the power of a good adaptation. It makes you love the adaptation, and it also motivates you to actually to check out the originals and everything. So yeah, but yeah, I love the show to bits, I love the story to bits and everything, so I can't wait to see what kind of an ending they give us and everything. So yeah, but I think for now, that will be all there is from me. So that was The Last of Us Season 1, Episode number 8. So thank you guys, as always, so much for watching this video and for being here and watching the reaction and everything. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and everything. Comment on what you thought of this episode and how it made you feel, and what your thoughts are on this kind of portion of the story, and how you kind of prefer, how you enjoyed it compared to the game version, and any kind of other kind of like thoughts you have in terms of the characters and everything they went through and all that kind of stuff, and any kind of theories you have for how you think, especially like non-game players, and any kind of theories you have for how the story might end and where the finale might leave us and everything. And the full-length reaction for this episode, as all the episodes that came before, will of course be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So until next time, bye bye for now.